Welcome to the most forward-thinking, inspirational podcast in this reality. The show designed to challenge everything we've been taught. If you've ever felt there had to be more to life, more to existence, then you're listening to the right podcast. Time to open your mind and dive in. This is the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast.
And here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about perception, self-awareness, comprehension, understanding of self in scenario, I guess you could say. There are people in this world who will suck the ever-loving life out of you when you have conversations with them. You know who they are. You're thinking about them right now. Why I wanted to actually do an episode on this, there's a couple of things I want to talk about on this episode, but primarily it's people and interactions and how you handle being involved. And like I said, there are people out there who suck the life out of you, who make statements out of perceived ignorance. It's a strange thing when you start elevating your game mentally. It's a strange thing when you start deciding that for yourself there's more. And the world in which we live in, the universe around us, the higher or more effort you put into stepping higher, and this I've quoted this 1,000 times. It comes from the Stephen King book, 11/22/63 or what have you. The harder you push against the past, the harder the past pushes back. The more you attempt to change, the more you attempt to challenge yourself, the more this universe pushes back. This world wants you to be small. This world is content with you playing small to a degree. And I'm not saying this in a negative way. I am saying that the challenges will come the more you step into purpose. And they'll come in such weird places. Like, have you ever tried to have a conversation with somebody who you once admired or looked up to that never really mentally grew past anything? And you weren't necessarily in need of knowing this prior to your own awareness or awakening? You ever notice how some of the people in your life just seem to want to shit on you or remind you of who you were? It's a strange thing because normally you don't notice it. You don't pay attention to it. You don't see it. You don't comprehend it. It's not even in your ethos. But as you step into purpose and as you step more into where you think you want to be and know you need to be in this life, it's amazing how much even those pretty close to you come back and consistently step on your progress, shit on who you are as a person. And these are people that you're supposed to trust. Could be a friend, a family member, a parent, a sibling. The weirdest thing is dealing with narcissistic energies inside your own family unit, especially if you had them yourself. I mean, if you were raised by a narcissist, you live with that energy and those tendencies. When you're raised by two competing narcissists, also trying to be the second mouse in the scenario, you realize that manipulation is key. And the funny thing is, these people are gaslight mother champions, but they don't even know they're doing it. There's a lot of people that operate in the idea of shitting on you or dragging you down. Remember, too, the only people who can drag you down are the people who are already below you, physically, mentally, however you want to look at it. People that don't understand you, people that don't grasp how it is that you're progressing through this world, will do everything they can to hook you into their level. And it's a strange spot to be, but it's the world in which we live, especially for those who are trying. There's a meme out there that I absolutely love. It says, being enlightened or what have you is not all it's cracked up to be. It's about dumbing down 95% of your conversations. And unfortunately, that's the truth. Unfortunately, for those who are stepping into purpose and who are understanding and seeing and comprehending certain things, the majority of the conversations that you are going to have are, I guess, you doing your best not to seem pompous. But at the same time, it's amazing how many people are so fucking hell-bent on misunderstanding you. There's another meme that I absolutely love, too. It says, don't try to explain or express who you are to those who absolutely, unequivocally will refuse to understand you. The greatest light workers I've ever met in this entire world have walked through the shadows of hell, have walked through the depths of hell, are still in them. They've surrounded themselves with the craziest of people. I can think of some ex-husbands and some ex-wives. I can think of some siblings. I can think of some family members, parents. It's incredible to think how the majority of parents in this day and age want you to do great, but don't want you to do better than them. It's a strange thing. But then you realize that theoretically your parents are just children as well. So when you're talking to your parent and you're assuming that there's some sort of higher entity or higher being, and this goes for anybody, could be a parent, could be a boss, could be anyone that you've decided that you've put quasi above you for whatever reason, in a position of authority for whatever reason, a police officer. These guys don't know what they're doing. They know what they were told. Your parents don't know what they're doing. They know what they were programmed. And what I found with the boomers moving forward is that these people are reverting back to their childish ways. They're facing whatever it is they're facing in their lives. They're overcoming certain things. There's new challenges, new this, new that, new moments, new pinnacles of life. The oldest they've ever been. Maybe there's some fear involved. They revert back to childhood. They've got this adamant, I know unequivocally what's right and what's wrong. But they talk to you like you're a kid because they are defending their inner child. It's amazing how much people want to essentially, I don't want to say drag you down because that sounds like it's an attack. It's not an attack. Some people, I will say, do want to drag you down, absolutely. But other people are literally demonstrating to you their capacity for comprehension and understanding. And when you understand that, when you see that, it's really hard to get mad at somebody who, again, refuses to understand you because that's taking it personally. Oh, you choose to misunderstand me? How dare you? Wherein you're not necessarily supposed to be understood, and you're not even supposed to convince these people of anything. You're supposed to use them as a guideline. You're supposed to be uncomfortable because that uncomfortability makes you change, grow, adapt. Not everybody's designed to grow. Not everybody's designed to adapt. Some people are put in your life to push you to higher levels through frustration, anxiety, fear, stress. The majority of people who got married in their 20s married somebody who best reflected how they felt about themselves. And a lot of people in their 20s are riddled with insecurity. So now a bunch of people in their 40s and 50s, to anyone who's done the work, to anyone who's done the shadow work, the soul searching, any of that shit, you're stuck dating or married to the 20-year-old version of yourself, which is weird. Some people get real lucky and their partners grow with them. Some people get real lucky and their siblings grow with them and their friends grow with them. But how many friends have we grown through? Tons, all of them. It's very rare that you meet somebody and they stay with you for the rest of your life. And even if they do, you know that that friend is only somebody that you can sort of casually chat with every now and again. Especially if you're listening to this show. Now, I know that there's a ton of people. I mean, I look at whatever the cool kids in high school, like that whole image, and they're all still best friends. It's just such a weird thing to me. It's not weird to them, but it's a weird thing to me to have, like, at the age of 14, be like, these are my friends forever. I'm not going to look past or beyond, and I'm always going to maintain a certain energy. You got to look at that, and you got to question that. You got to say to yourself, what does this really mean? Is it possible for somebody to do this? Meanwhile, I've lived 18,000 different lifestyles or lifetimes since high school. But yet here they are doing the same shit. I've talked to some people recently, well, maybe not recently, but certainly since the end of high school, that you're chatting with them and you're like, Jesus Christ, like you never moved beyond that moment in time. It's a weird thing. Conversations with these people are strange. These energy drainers are strange. Some people aren't in conversation to connect. They're there to consume. They suck the oxygen out of the room, leaving you feeling heavy, exhausted, or like you need a shower after 5 minutes with them. Recognizing that sensation is step one in protecting your energy. See, the thing with the majority of narcissists is they don't actually see you. They only interact with the version of you that existed when they had the most control. They'll drag you back into old cycles because they're locked into a mental snapshot, not your growth. You don't owe them the performance of who you used to be. Fuck these people. You're not responsible for their feelings. Your integrity isn't measured by how other people react to you. If you operate honestly, clearly, and with the purest of intentions, and from the best of your awareness, well, that's your responsibility. Their reaction is their mirror, not your burden. So when you see somebody that appears to be ripping on you or shitting on you, all they're doing is demonstrating their own personal inability or lack of desire to comprehend, understand, or grow. And you know what's going to happen if you poke any of them or call any of them out? Well, guess what? They're going to get triggered and they're going to get angry. How dare you say these things about me? Matter of fact, you too, Susan. People will show you who they are. You don't need to fix them, rescue them, or explain yourself endlessly. The more you hold your center, the more obvious their energy becomes, positive or negative. One thing I will say, though, is by you trying to fix somebody you truly care about, could be a spouse, could be a parent, could be a sibling. It's not so much fixing, it's you doing your best to help them align with your personal preferences. And sometimes you have family members that you can't do that with. So it's great to visit with them, but you don't want to spend too much time with them because their entire intent is to either mock or ridicule anything that goes beyond their own comprehension. And as cool as they are, and as much as you love them and want to hang out with them, you can only put up with so much of that shit because they're going to make you feel like hell because you're empathetic, because you have the ability to see, understand, deduce. They don't. One of the craziest things that I was talking about with somebody when we were on this exact tangent was that these people don't want to be understood. They want to fucking hurt you. And it sounds weird because they themselves are, for whatever reason, locked in a childish mindset that for them to understand you is too much work, but for them to mock you and make you feel like they felt and the perception that they felt from you. In other words, if you outthink or if you step to somebody on a higher plateau, these people feel intrinsically hurt because they don't understand what you've just done. And now they want to hurt you. And it sounds personal, but it's not personal. It's not like this person wants to hurt you specifically. It's that this action caused a internal combustion / reaction. I feel hurt. So now everybody around me needs to feel hurt. This is the unhealed, broken child. And when you're talking to a child, talk to them with kid gloves. Don't expect everyone to understand who and what and where you are. If that were the case, then all divorces would be quite blissful and amicable. There'd be no problem at all. We're all just moving in our own separate ways. Instead, the majority of divorces for this matter, since we're on this topic, stem from one adult having grown through their entire lives being sick of the gaslighting from the child adult. In a perfect world, everybody grows together, and that's attainable. In reality, the challenges the enlightened face, or those who are attempting to better themselves, will make them better. Therefore, the pain that we suffer through with regards to these people, we can actually thank them for. Because without it, we wouldn't have had to troubleshoot or problem solve or move on without them. They're forcing you out of their lives because naturally you wouldn't leave, because you're a kind person, because this is what you've always deemed to be okay. But if you're off your own personal life path, then these people are going to get crazier and wilder and more aggressive and more foolish and stupider. And you're going to say to yourself, well, should I take this personally? Or should I just accept that this is the universe doing its best to help me along the journey in which I'm currently on? Because I don't personally want to believe in good versus evil, or a dumb person coming after you, or even saying the term dumb person, because there is no dumb person. Dumb implies smart. I don't think I'm a smart person. I think that my brain functions a certain way. And because it functions a certain way, I want to surround myself with similar-minded functionality. I don't want to associate with constant and chronic negativity. But you need the constant and chronic negativity to allow you to see that you can operate in positivity. Like, you can't swim against a current if there's no current. You can't move if there's no friction. You can't propel yourself down the road if there's no road. You can't fly off into the sunset if there's no sunset. So as much as we want to dismiss these people, get angry at these people, get angry at our situation, get angry at any of it, no matter what it is, no matter who you're dealing with, if it's your boss, if it's your ex, if it's your mom or your dad. It's a shit position to be in, but it's one that's going to help you grow. And the minute you put your foot down or change or alter or do that thing that you know is going to help you get beyond what it is that you want to do, you can unequivocally thank them. Thank you for being a fucking bitch. Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for not accepting anything that I like. Thank you for never understanding me. Thank you for actively misunderstanding me. Because if you didn't, my dumb ass might have stuck around here. And it sounds like I'm putting a lot of personal pressure into this episode of Passion Galore. Lots of P's. Pop, pop, pop. Thank you, Pop Filter. You're helping my listeners' ears. The whole thing, the entirety of everything that we're doing is designed to help you grow. There are people here that are not supposed to grow. There are people here that only exist in this reality for you to understand who you are better, for you to make a better version of yourself out of this. Because like I said, these people who appear to be hell-bent on misunderstanding you aren't misunderstanding you because that's a personal statement. They live at a pivotal point in their life. Their life accentuates your life. By proxy, for you to figure out who you are, you must eliminate who you are not. And these are the ways that we do it. I understand who I am because I never wanted this to be anything other than whatever it is I wanted. Prime example for me. I have been misunderstood my entire life. I have been shit on, verbally abused, dismissed, waved off the majority of my childhood and adult life. And the funny thing is, every single step of the way, I prevailed. I stepped forward. I decided I wanted more for myself. I wanted to do this. I wanted to try that. I wanted to do all these things. And to every single person who poo-pooed me or my ideas or what I was doing or where I was going with them, every last one of them told me I should go flip burgers at McDonald's. What the fuck is that? Why would you have a job instead of a purpose? Because the system itself does not want you to do anything other than exist in and within the system. And we're playing against the system. Is the system my enemy? No. The system exists the way it exists because some people, most people, don't want freedom. They don't want to think. They don't want to do anything. Most people are dead asleep. The only people this system affects is those pushing against the system. So when you stop taking the system personally, and when you start thanking it again for giving you the gas, the gumption, the motivation to step so much more into purpose, you realize that, again, no negatives. No negatives, no positives, just a system in place. And you go from being angry at people, mentalities, mindsets, to taking pity on those who do not have the ability to think beyond the intrinsic programming that we've all been built with. Imagine just simply existing, spending a couple bucks here and a couple bucks there, not having any real experiences, not having any real opinions, and being riddled with negativity and guilt and fear. And then wanting to spread that out to other people. Imagine wanting to cause pain to other people because you yourself don't understand how to alchemize pain. I say that with passion because I remember being that. I remember being a dick. I remember being locked into the third dimension. I remember being attacked and wanting to hurt other people. It's such a common phrase that the memes are out there. If you don't heal what hurt you, you'll bleed on those who never cut you. And it's amazing how much we're programmed to want to hate the world around us. It's amazing how much we're programmed to want to shit on Paul for something Mary said. But when you turn that all around and when you give yourself permission to allow others to be exactly who they are, you no longer have to worry about what anyone may or may not think about you. And the weirdest thing about that is when you make that decision and when you make that switch, you can watch those other people, if they're forced to be in your life, you can watch them get more and more aggressive. But you're also not watching them as an entity anymore, as an individualistic entity. You're watching them as a representation of the very system you have decided to rise against. Rise Against. We used to use them in the intro. They're a great band. But we had to change the intro. The intro's great if you guys want to go back a couple, I would say 50 episodes. And we walked away from conspiracy. And there was another thing I was going to actually tack onto this episode, which was I wanted to talk about gurus. And I wanted to talk about the illusion of what's going on social media and all that sort of stuff and how it interferes with your brain. But we're already at 25 minutes now. So that's going to be next week. Ladies and gentlemen, don't allow people to pressure you into anything. And don't allow people to fuck with your mind. Allow them, however, inside your mind. Allow them to demonstrate to you who they are. Not who you think they should be or who you feel you want them to be. And when you can do that, when you can pull yourself out of a situation where somebody's shitting on you or whatever the hell it is, you understand that this person is just a fucking lost child. And you can take pity on their shitty ways and wish them the best of luck because, again, how amazing would it be if you could simply be happy with a shiny object sparkling in your face? For me, there's a lot more that I need to do with this world. There's a lot more that has to come from me. There's a lot more that I have to do. And again, I can look back and I can say, hey, I must give to the world that one thing that I never had as a child, which was understanding, comprehension, compassion. I went so far on the other side because of my upbringing that I became intuitive, or I was always intuitive, I don't know. But to be able to see through people because you've been studying them for so long is a gift that I would never have gotten had my life not been the way it was. Had my childhood not been as fucked up as it was. Am I a prisoner of my past? No. Are you a prisoner of your past? Absolutely not. Do you choose to be? You might. I did. You find a way to move through, move on, and understand. You find a way to trust and love yourself. And the more you love you, the easier it is for you to deal with every single person who's at war with themselves. And one of the easiest ways to deal with them is to move on from them. Some people you can, some people you can't. Those you can't, you do your best to love them from afar. But love yourself up close, because at the end of the day, you, ladies and gentlemen, are the most important observer that has ever existed in this reality. When you understand and comprehend that, you do emphatically understand that the world is happening for you. And when you make that mental shift, the rest of the world demonstrates to you what it is. And it becomes quite fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, in the infamous words of Red Green, keep your stick on the ice.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Mental Mastery Alliance podcast. Stay connected with us directly through the mentalmasteryalliance.com. You can also join the discussion on Instagram at instagram.com/the Mental Mastery Alliance. Let the team know you're listening by using the hashtag TMMA or tagging us at the Mental Mastery Alliance. To have your voice heard on the show, leave a voicemail or send a text to 647-338-1265. Long distance charges may apply. If you love us, leave us a review. If you hate us, you spend your time in weird ways, but also leave a review. Every review on iTunes tickles the algorithm, helping us grow. Until next time, unity over division. This concludes the most surreal portion of your day.
You got it, Pontiac.